podcast episode 189. I'm
Yes.
saying it's 189. It's 189, isn't it?
It is.
All
It
right.
is. Yeah.
Is it?
Oh, what is good,
Yeah,
man?
it's 189. It's
Yeah,
189.
it's 189. Sorry.
Yeah.
Apologies. Sorry, Rich. Sorry.
Yeah, I knew I was gonna be right. What's good, Mandem?
Bless, man. Bless.
Yeah, man. Not
Another
doing too bad. I guess first full week of the year. Back to work as well.
Shit.
When first week of the year is always a bit fake, innit? You're still in that
It's shaky, man.
that
It's
no
shaky.
man's land. Just coming out of Christmas. Well, Christmas is done. Coming out of New Year's. You're just kind of floating around. Work isn't busy, so you're just pretending to do stuff, depending on what it is that you do. And yeah, man, it's the week went pretty quick-ish. So yeah, but other than that, all good, man.
I'm the same as Les, apart from work not being busy. At the end of the year, I was crazy busy, and it's just carried over into the start of this year. Yeah, it's been nuts. And just to have that time off, that 10 days off, and then come straight back in, and it's just crazy busy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's mad. It's mad.
Didn't,
But
didn't even get a chance to warm back into it, man.
yeah. But straight back in, and first week's done, so I'm ready for week 2. Really.
Come on.
Yeah, man.
Oh, for me, feels pretty standard, to be fair. We're back in it. COVID protocols seem to be up because more and more people are catching it, basically. But other than that, we're kind of business as usual. For those that are watching, you'll see I was gonna say an unfamiliar face, but it kind of looks like somebody.
He's doing the run.
Yeah.
He was on the cup yesterday.
The game yesterday, yeah. Man's got the hat on and
managed to pull some
everything. Boy,
strings
you
and
mad?
get the man himself.
Biggest
Listen.
man.
We have friend of the show. I think you've been listening for a long time, actually. And definitely, former colleagues. I'll give like a short intro, I guess. Me and Mike worked with Ramon, aka Ian Wright, back in Blood. I think
2011. 2011 it started.
Yeah. And Rams made some career moves. I think even before that, maybe we could talk about that a bit later. Interesting career moves. Anyway, but bro, I haven't seen you in time. First,
I ain't seen Ram for time.
We
got a little WhatsApp group. We talk.
Yeah. We talk.
But then you've relocated and that as well, innit?
Yeah, man.
He's changed his whole life, man.
Just when you got a family, it ain't about you no more, man. Do you know what I mean? You gotta do what's right for the kids and give them a good start off in life. And it's hard because obviously you leave your friends, you lot, family, like my mum and my cousin still in London. Don't get me wrong.
Where are you now? I think
I'm in Brighton.
You're in Brighton, yeah.
So
you lived all over as well, innit? Ram, South, North, LA.
I'm South originally. You're chief, you know. I'm South London originally, Clapham.
Yeah.
So I'm Clapham originally. I was raised in America, born here, raised in America.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then then obviously when you meet the missus, and then you have that conversation in the beginning about, which I believe when you're in a relationship, you need to have some true, honest conversations about your plans. And I said to her, look, I'm not looking to raise kids in London because if I do, I'm gonna get in trouble. So we need to. Do you know what I mean? So when the Tottenham riots happened, we was like, yeah, let's get out of here. So we moved to Hertfordshire, Bishop Stortford, which is 20 minutes from Tottenham. And then from there, it's, Brighton, man.
Yeah. And we was working together them times as well.
Yeah. During
What was we, 2 years? 2 years together, maybe?
Two and a half.
At least, I can't remember. Was I working with Ram before? Ram, was me and you was in that store before Mike come in it?
Yeah.
I said this new guy be easier.
Then I came and just took over the shop. Do you know what I'm saying? It's mad. But no, they were good days, man. Me and Richie often talk about it. Like, that was probably the best working days.
Let me show you something. If you know, you know. Hold on.
Rich. Man's got the body warmer thing on. Come on. I used to wear them to ball and that.
Bruv, all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. But man, it was good times, man. We had a nice little family there, man. CPW.
Yeah.
CPW, man. Yeah, it was good. It was good.
What would these look like as colleagues? Because they always talk like they're the top boys.
Like, man,
you know what?
Do you
know what? It was jokes. It was jokes. We all had each other's backs. We used to play ninja all day.
Crazy.
We used to play football like nutmegs. Mike used to get nutmeg all the time.
Dan knows that ain't true.
All the time.
All the
time. Ricky, do you know what? Richie was the pretty boy, like just silent.
What are you talking about? I was just
silent
it with it.
No, it was jokes. And that was joke. No, the sales, we used to do some mad combos with insurance. You know them ones with the remember them ones with the yeah, you might want to get insurance with that, you know. Yeah. And it was like a baked BlackBerry.
You have to
get insurance on that. Yeah, you have to get insurance. It's funny. It was funny. No, good times, man. Nice little family, man. It was actually a family. Do you know what? It wasn't even work college. It was family.
Yeah, we all clicked like straight away.
Straight away. Even Demola, like.
Shout out D, man.
Shout out D.
Shout out D.
AKA 4x4 boy. That guy.
This guy. I think what helped us. I don't know even if it helped us because even before that we was getting on very well, but we went Reading early on, innit?
That was it. Yeah.
We went Reading early on some training course. We was there for like 2 nights.
Yeah.
And then after that, after that, it was a family thing.
Family.
Wait, random, but do you remember, like at that time? I was thinking about this the other day. What was like one of the first viral things? And I remember
planking
at the time. Planking.
Yeah.
Do you know what?
Ram down. Yeah.
So I got a picture, you know. Hold on.
Yeah, if you got that Ram, send that over. We'll post that up.
Yeah, man, we'll find that somewhere as well.
I swear I got a picture of that somewhere.
What phone you got now, Ram? What phone you got now?
I'm still Samsung, man. I got
same.
Samsung all day long, man. Always Samsung. I've actually got pictures of us when we went out.
I remember these lot posting pictures, and I was like jealous that you lot had like a little.
I put it up.
Got up a bit. That was Christmas party, no? I think.
Yeah. I've got so many pictures like from back then. I'll send them to you, and then you can. I've got some funny pictures, man. Yeah, man. So life's been
one of the reasons. Sorry, go on, man.
Go. What are you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say one of the reasons we wanted you on the show, and I think it's a unique perspective. As brother, I think you're the only policeman man knows, right? And black as well. I feel like you're the only. One other guy, a guy I used to work with actually. I think I don't know. I think he's still doing his thing. And I just thought it'd be interesting to hear some of your views on all sorts of shit, but particularly via that lens.
How did that come about, Ram? Because obviously we was working in Carphone Warehouse, and then did you go to Samsung or something like that? I can't remember.
Went to Samsung for a bit. Went to Samsung, and that's when the missus was pregnant with my second. Yeah, with Roxana, and then do you know what? I can even go way back before Roxana was even born. I had a chance to join the Met back in London years back, like 2000 I want to say 2010, 2009, 8 maybe. I wasn't ready mentally, wasn't mature enough, wasn't ready. And could have been a PCSO again, had it in my hand, wasn't ready. I thought, nah. You know when it's your time to do certain things and certain moves.
Yeah.
Wasn't ready. So I just left it. And then obviously fast forward to now, when we moved to Sussex, and it's what I mean about, for those who believe in God, like when God said move, when God says move, you need to move. And then something just said to me, do you know what? I was working and something said to me, I was an enforcement officer, that was it. And I was in Worthing and something said to me, oh, go down that road down there. And I was thinking, why am I going to be walking down that road? That's not my patch. Like, I don't need to be going down that road. But I thought, okay, let me go down there, walk down there. And as I was walking, there was an officer walking towards me and he said to me, oh, I need your help with something. Can you help me? I said, yeah, I can help you. I said, but you need to help me with something as well. And he was like, yeah, what's up? I said, well, I'm thinking I might want to join the force. And he was like, why? What's the reason? I said, well, the main reason is, I'm sorry, this contact lenses are doing my head in. The main reason is I want to help the youth. basically that the black community and kind of bridge that gap and kind of educate the kids them in school. So like, but I don't know about you lot. So obviously I'm 40, yeah. So when I was younger, we used to have career day. Police officers used to come, firemen, all sorts used to come to our school and just talk. Now they don't tend to get that much in these schools, especially I don't know about in London or in Sussex. And hold on 1 second, this contact's really, hold on.
You're getting emotional, bro.
No, it's contact lenses that do my head in. So I said that's why I want to join. So I told him I helped him with whatever he wanted to be helped with and all that. And he said, yeah. So he said, look, take down this email address. So we got the ball rolling, and then I applied. Fast forward, I had an opportunity to join. So now that I'm in, I remember in my interview, they said to me the same thing. You know, why do you want to be an officer? And I explained to them that I just want to just kind of help the youth, be that voice, be that middleman, kind of help the black community, like I said, because at the end of the day, let's be real, especially in London, a lot of the black community don't like the police. There's a lot of things the police have done wrong, whether it's the Mets, whatever, even across the pond in America. You know what I mean? Things have been, not been done correctly. So I thought, you know what, I'm one of these people who, if I want to make a change, instead of talking about it, do it.
Yeah.
So instead of talking about it, saying, I don't like this, I don't like that, it's like, you know what, why don't you actually do something about it? Do you know what I mean? So that's why I thought, okay, let me join. And now that I'm in my interview, they asked me that, they said to me, give me an example why you think you can make a difference. And I remember saying to this guy, okay, so should I tell you what you want to hear? Or do you want to hear the truth? Because I'm not about to tell you what you want to hear. I'm not that guy. You know what I mean? When I open the can, the worms are going to be everywhere. That's me. But I think personally, that's how it should be. And that way, there's no, oh, I thought you meant this. I thought you meant that. Do you know what I mean? Straight up black and white. So I said to him, look, when you pull up in the police car and there's a group of youths and there might be a black youth in there, you've already lost the battle. One, because you're in the police car. Two, you're a white officer. You might be able to engage with them and you might be able to get some sort of information, but you've already lost the battle. That's when I pull up in the police car, just like you, I've lost the battle because I'm in the police car. But when I get out and that black youth sees me, which I can tell you now, being an officer, I've never had any problems. I've engaged, I've managed to get the information I need to get, and I've helped them. Do you know what I mean? I've helped them. Do you know what I mean? So that's when I get out of the police car, I'm more likely to get more out of that black youth than you will. Now, one of the guys that's interviewing me, I think he was kind of old school, to be fair, he was retiring. I don't think he quite understood what I meant by that. But the other guy that was interviewing me, he got it. He was like, yeah, I like that. That's brilliant. And it's just things like that. I think we need to replicate and represent reality and real life and have more black, Asian within the force actually make a difference. Do you know what I mean? These guys, in the organization, my bosses and that, they do need help. And it is changing. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of black officers in Sussex and Asian. It is changing slowly, but it is definitely changing. I just feel we need to start reflecting what's going on in the community and having a black officer in the community or female, whether it's male or female, in there to kind of help. You know what I mean? Because they can't do it on their own. We need to help these youths because they're lost. I've never had a dad in my life. It was just me and my mum. My mum was my dad, you know what I mean? She was my mum, my dad, my brother, my sister, my best friend. So I know when I've been speaking to a lot of these black youths on the street now, I know how to engage with them. And it's true and it's real, do you know what I mean? And they know he's not just saying it. From when I talk, they know, okay, he's not from around these ends. Like, I'm from London, and they know, do you know what I mean? So it's one of those ones, just kind of give back and help. Because these kids, the blind are leading the blinds, man. The kids are having kids, and they're just lost. And for them, they're born, and they think this is life, the poverty and it's hard, man, especially with COVID. And it breaks my heart, man. Like, when I've had to go to do a custody watch, and I'd be talking to the youth who's black, and I said, look, how did you get into this predicament? And they all said the same thing. Oh, I just got mixed up with the wrong crowd. I don't have a dad. I don't have anyone that loves me, who talks to me, who gives me a chance. They're all saying the same thing. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying, you know, what they're doing is right. It's not. Obviously, when you do the crime, you got to do the time. Do you know what I mean? But I understand how they got into that predicament in the first place. So for me, it's that thing of, I'm here to say, look, there is another way. If you're walking in a direction going this way, you can always turn around and change and go in the right direction. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just kind of helping these youth them to say, look, there is another way. But obviously it's hard because this is how they've been raised. And I'm a firm believer. Like my mum always said to me, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. Yeah? That's another bar. You like that one? You can have that one for free. So like, but, do you know what I mean? So like,
thanks.
So like,
you got an episode title for that one.
But you know what I mean? No, show me your friends, I'll tell you who you are. Do you know what I mean? So, and it is so true. And it's the company you keep. And again, back in my day, not so much now, we had raising me. I had religion, obviously Christian background. I had my mum and I had the community. The community helped raise you. So you had your next door neighbor. You had the guy at the shop on the corner. If you tried anything, he would clap you on and then snitch on you and tell your mum. There was no getting away. But in this day and age, in 2021, the parents are scared of their children. Do you know what I mean? So it's any which way I can help to kind of, whether it's the parents or the kids, to say, look, man, you can flip this, man. You can flip it and reverse it and make a difference and change and have a good life. Do you know what I mean? You weren't born. Do you know what I mean?
How long have you been policing now?
March last year.
Okay.
March last year.
So you started under COVID, pretty much.
I'm literally, you know, we're known as the COVID cohort. Yeah, we literally started March 16th. I never forget was when it all kicked off. I just finished teaching, and then it was literally straight into policing. Obviously I was a teacher before, so I literally went straight into that, and it was under those circumstances. It was tough, man. It was like, wow. You know, you know, they were saying to us in training, you might be deployed early. Be ready. As confident as I am, I'm a very confident individual, very outgoing, can communicate, can hold my own. Even I was a little bit like, wow, this is the fear of the unknown. I don't know what to expect. Obviously, the public don't know I'm new. They just see me in uniform and they expect me to help and deliver straight away. Now, I can fake it to a certain point, but there comes a point where you're like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing yet. Do you know what I mean? So I've been in the game now, coming up to a year now, and there's so much I've learned, like through colleagues and when I've gone out, and you just realize like, wow, but now I'm actually out there doing it. The public, when I speak to them, do you know what? All they're interested in is the truth and you. Sometimes you got to remind them, look, try and see past the uniform. I'm just like you. I'm just like you. Like, do you know what I mean? When I go home, I get upset. I have my down days. I've got my little mental health thing from way back from 2016, which we'll talk about that later. But do you know what I mean? So it's that thing of, I think the public just want officers who are real and true and do things the right way, not what's convenient. Do things the right way all the time. Do you know what I mean? And like I teach my kids, I always say to them, and I say this to some of my colleagues, being brave is doing the right thing when it's not the most popular thing to do. And a lot of them are stuck in their way. Do you know what I mean? A lot of them are stuck in their ways, and I get that. But people like me, and like I said, it's changing. It is slowly changing. And man, I'm hoping to actually make a difference. Instead of moaning about it, sitting on the sofa, oh, look at this, look at that. Why are they not doing this? Do you know what? I'm on. Join the force, help the organization to make that change. You know what I mean? Get them to actually know how to communicate and engage and converse with the Black community, the Asian community, and do things properly. Do you know what I mean? So it's a long journey, man, but I'm up for that battle. Do you know what I mean?
It seems like it. Did you notice any like friends, family, people you know, kind of like distancing themselves from you or saying, are you sure that's the right idea? Because as you know,
that response is yes.
It's a topic which is mad, and I guess you've grown up just like us, and you know.
Yeah. So listen, so obviously having like a Jamaican family background, you know how they go on already. They start yamming up themselves and they start jacking. So Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, when I officially got my warrant card and I got my badge, I didn't tell my mum straight away. I thought she's always supported me.
Is it like it sounds like coming out or something, isn't it?
Bro,
Like,
bro.
that's something I gotta tell you.
It's one of the ones like my mum would be like, what are you doing now? You still teaching? I'm thinking, I can't lie. That's what should I do?
Great class.
So I just sent her a picture of the warrant cards, and then she messaged me back like a crying emoji. Now I know my mum. That's her being proud. She's happy.
Okay.
So she was just like, I'm so happy. I'm so proud of you. You've always said you wanted to do that to go and make a difference. And she said, I'm not sure how your uncles are going to take this. And I said, look, you don't have to tell them if you don't want to. But if they want to sit down and have an open, honest conversation with me about why I've joined, I'm happy to do that. We can have that when they are ready. Remember, they're old school. They don't like the police. But at the end of the day, I said to my mum, if they're true and if they're really honest, they'll look at themselves and say, they'll ask themselves, why do we not like the police? And they can answer that question honestly. Do you know what I mean? So it's.
And I guess, sorry, Ram, I guess also for you, your mission almost is a lot bigger than, I guess, people's opinion. Unfortunately, it's family, but your mission is greater than what people think.
Big.
It's a 2020 version of Leroy Logan, low key, like everything that
That's
you're
what
saying.
I was gonna say.
Yeah. It is literally like friends-wise, support all across the board. Everyone's like, go and get them, eat them, like show them, like, do you know what I mean? Don't hold back. But obviously, that I can't be me. I can't be Ramon, like, you know, and switch, and you still gotta be professional and do things in a certain way.
Yeah, like any job, innit?
Yeah, exactly. But what I do like is I've got the support of the organisation, of the superintendent, you know, the chief inspector, I've got support from everywhere. Massage, everyone's like, we need more people like you. This is good. So, you know, they're not telling me don't say this, don't say that, hush hush. All they say is have fun, enjoy it, but obviously just be mindful. People are quick, People are quick to maybe twist things and things like that. But you have got a job to do at the end of the day. So I'm representing the whole of Sussex. If anything, the whole police force, whether it's the Met or Sussex or Surrey. Do you know what I mean? So
what's it like up there, Ram?
In terms of
just like the difference between London, how would you think it would be police in London?
Do you know what? Nowhere near the level of London, obviously, because in London it's a different kettle of fish. They don't just talk. These people, when there's gangs, they don't talk. They just do. You know what I'm saying? So, whereas here in Sussex, when I've gone to certain jobs, and then I'll be talking to this guy and I'll be detaining him, talking to him, and he's in a gang, I'm thinking, you're not a gangster, bro. You're not a gangster. You're not a gangster. Just calm down, man. You need a hug. That's what you need. You need a hug, man. You know what I mean? But it is different. It is different. But it is busy. Brighton is busy. Brighton's very busy. That's why they call it London by the Sea. Do you know what I mean? It is busy. Don't get me wrong. It's very, very busy. We see everything and get everything, and you realize like, wow, it's different but the same, if that makes sense. So it's not like London, but there's crime everywhere. It is what it is. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But people are doing crime for different reasons, if that makes sense as well. But it is weird. It's a weird experience, man. It's a weird experience. I tell you what I find hard is when you go to jobs and there's kids involved. That's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough, and there's little kids involved, and you're like, do you know what I mean? It's like the child didn't ask to be on this planet, do you know what I mean? But they're here and they're going through this, or they're involved in this domestic or whatever it is.
I guess, when you're saying you want to help the youth and whatnot, that's probably going to hit home even more. Like
exactly. So it's hard
on these kids. Also, Ram, a question from me, because I guess again, history has shown, I guess, some police forces or no police force to be like institutionally racist and whatnot.
Yeah.
Have you felt anything whereby you're like, ooh, this might be a bit of that, or has it just been plain sailing?
You know what?
because I guess in every walk of life we experience
Yeah.
nuance sometimes. So yeah.
So I've experienced racism with somebody that I'd arrested, who's a female.
Mm-hmm.
She was calling me every name under the sun, and I'm thinking, right, okay, you're 16. How do you know these words? How do you know these words? And again, show me your friends, I'll tell you who you are. Do you know what I mean? So you're clearly getting these lyrics from your friends or your family, because there's no way at 16 you know what some of these words are. And I'm talking old school words. Yeah? Like one word, I'm not going to say, but it rhymes with moon. I'm sure you can work it out. Do you know what I mean? So, like, do you know what I mean? There's certain ways I'm thinking, wow. But again, because I'm old school, I'm thick-skinned, I'm made of like strong stuff, some yam and rice, ackee and saltfish, you know them ones there. So I'm made from some strong stuff. So it didn't offend me, it didn't affect me. And this is another thing I had to learn about being in the police. It's not just about me, it's about my colleagues. We're a family, we're a police family, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So
I was in this van with my two colleagues. Like, even though what this girl was saying didn't offend me, I could see that my two colleagues were very offended and were really, really upset.
White colleagues.
Yeah. So
Okay.
they were really, 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 really upset. One was a female, one was a male. They were really like, wow. And they're looking at me and they're like, how is this guy not offended? I'm thinking, that doesn't offend me, because again, all they're seeing is the uniform. And you got to understand, when people are arrested or they're intoxicated or on drugs, they're just thinking, what can I say to upset this officer? So obviously for me, the most obvious is my color. If I was big, if I was a larger person, they'll pick on the weight. Do you know what I mean? If I had a lazy eye, they'll pick on. Do you know what I mean? So obviously for her, she's thinking, let's pick on the color, but it didn't bother me at all. But I could see my two colleagues were really, really upset. So that was a learning curve for me to say, right, Ramon, you need to be more aware of your colleagues and how they feel, because these are your colleagues. Do you know what I mean? And you've got each other's back, kind of thing. So that's the only real like racist thing I've experienced within the organization.
Yeah, nothing from within.
No, nothing. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying it might not be there in the clouds. I don't know, from someone in another force or whatever. But I've never experienced it. I've had support from top to bottom. Like I said, top to bottom support. And I'll tell you what it is. I think because of the way I come across and the way I communicate, I think it makes them think, okay, no need to be threatened. This guy is the real deal. And I think they're embracing it. I think they've realized back in the day, when they used to say, we want to change, and there never was any change, I think now they're actually seeing, okay, change is actually happening. Okay, this guy's actually serious. He's not just saying it. The stuff that I'm doing behind the scenes already, do you know what I mean? So for me, I'm enjoying the journey. I'm enjoying the rides. No one's said anything. They might be thinking it. I don't know. But,
you're not to,
until they say something.
Exactly. Exactly. It's not happened yet. Obviously, I feel sorry for colleagues in the Met. I know it does go on. One of my colleagues has had it in the Met, but, it's in Sussex. Nah, man, it's all good, man. It's gravy. They're brilliant. Very, very, very supportive. Like, to the point where you actually, like, I feel like they've given me the key to the city. If that makes sense. Okay. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's probably because they trust me.
Yeah.
To even do this podcast, to even do this, for them to go, yo, go do your thing, man.
Yeah.
Show them, tell them, get it out there. Yeah. They actually do want to change. And I know Sussex, we do lead the way within policing. So, yeah, man, it's good. And like I said, there is change. Things like stop and search, for an example.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, it's not always been great. It's not always been handled the right way. You see it goes on in London all the time. But at the end of the day, we have a job to do. And if you're doing the job the right way, like you're supposed to, like you're trained, and you're explaining yourself why you're searching that person, do you know what I mean? What are the grounds? Why are you stopping them? As long as you're doing everything lawfully.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And this is what people don't seem to realize. The public don't seem to realize. We, Sussex, and I'm pretty sure the Met do as well, to be honest, we challenge anything that is not done properly and lawfully. We do challenge it, but unfortunately the press don't print that. We do challenge our officers who are not acting accordingly and doing things accordingly. We've also got body-worn videos showing when we do stop and searches, so you can actually see what we're doing and what we're saying. Do you know what I mean? We've also got an external, we've got an external panel who will hold the police accountable when we don't do things proper. We welcome that. We want that. That's a good thing. And that's what I'm saying. But you guys won't see this or hear it. And I get it. The press, they've got money to make. They need to get that click, 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 click. But trust me, we do things properly. Do you know what I mean? Behind the scenes.
You don't use the old line. What is it? There's been a lot of robberies in the area.
Classic.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? The classic
something just happened in the area, and the description matches
you.
These times you've come from like over there.
Yeah. Exactly. Like I said, I had it when I was in London. When I lived in London before children, and I'll tell you what. Actually, this was the turning point when I said, right, something needs to be done. I'd gone to a house party with my missus. We'd gone to a party somewhere, a house party somewhere. Now this time she was living in Finsbury Park. Now we know what Finsbury Park is about, yeah. So we're walking home, and I remember I was dressed up. We were dressed up to the nines. It was like 2:00 in the morning. I had my Michael Jackson hat to the sides, tilted, so all you can see was half.
I don't know why. I imagined you with like a long, like fur cut jacket, with like fur around the
neck. So like, I was walking back, like with my missus. She was in front of me, and I had my hat to the side, so all you can see was half of my face. And I remember there was a police van going past, and I said to my missus, "Slow down. They're gonna turn around. They're gonna come back for us." She was like, "What?" And I went, "They're gonna turn around." So I knew it was gonna happen. Lord and Bayard, they turned around. They came back. They pulled us to the side. They separated me from my missus, and then they were like, "Oh yeah, we just got told that there was somebody following a female because something had happened." And in my head, I'm thinking, okay, that's partially true. It does look like I'm following this woman, but okay, cool. Let's hear what they got to say. Now, the guy was actually fine. He was like talking to me saying, "Look, we're just checking to make sure everything's above board. That's my missus. Wherever you come from, a party. We just dressed up. We're just really tired. We're just going home. Do you know her? Yeah. What's her name?" I told them. "How long you been together?" This is her number. I told them. He was fine. He was like, "Yeah, it's fine, legit." His colleague, for some reason, I don't know why, felt the need to, right, let's put the missus in the van and really have a go at her and interrogate her to see. And I'm thinking, and this is why people don't like the police when they behave like that. Your colleagues said it's fine, it's legit, it's all cool. Why are you taking it on to the next level for? Why? Yeah. So it's and that was for me when that happened. I said enough's enough. Something has to change, man. Do you know what I mean? And it's stuff like that. Unfortunately, it still goes on, but. And again, I don't want people to think I'm this savior. I'm gonna try and save the world. I can't do it on my own. I need more black officers, male or female, more Asian, black, male or female coming in to help. That's the only way it's gonna change. You know what I mean?
Do you think there's, and I guess this question might go to everyone, do you think there's a pressure for, I guess, black and Asians to join the police force and to actually make a difference? Or I guess it's down to what you want to do, but do you think there's an added pressure to come in and, I guess, like you're doing, try and make a change or make a difference?
Do you know, there's no pressure from the force, but I think there's always going to be an underlying pressure, if you know what I mean? Because we're coming into a field where the majority of officers are white. Let's be honest and let's be real. Do you know what I mean? So there is going to be always that little bit of pressure. Okay, we've got a black officer here. Oh, we've got an Asian. We've got an Oriental. Whatever. There's always going to be an underlying pressure because, we've got to deliver. You know what I mean? So there's no pressure from the force to say, right, listen, we've given you a chance here. Yeah. You've got the golden ticket. You better. No, there's none of that. There's none of that. They treat us the same as all officers. The support's there if you need it, whether you're dyslexic, you've got mental health, whatever it is, the support is there. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, now, from what I can see, being in there, I can tell you now, like I said, they welcome the change. They want the change. They want to do things different. And like I said, it is changing. If, when I signed and I joined, there was any slight little then I'd be like, okay, wow. But there isn't. Don't get me wrong, when I came in, I was nervous, I'm not gonna lie, because obviously, but this is a big organization, this is a whole new kettle of fish, do you know what I mean? So I was nervous, thinking how are they gonna take me?
Yeah.
Because some people mistake my confidence as arrogance. And it's like, no, I'm just a confident individual because that's how I was raised. My mum raised me and said to me, you need to be confident in your ability. In anything you do, you need to be confident. Because if you don't, no one ain't going to take you seriously. No one's going to give you a chance. And if you don't grab what's on your plate, the person behind you will take it. They will eat your food. Do you know what I mean? So it's. I was nervous and you know, I'm still learning, man. I talk to officers who've been. I talk to officers. It's still early, exactly.
Yeah.
I talk to officers who've been in the game for like 15 years, 20. One woman I talked to, one of my colleagues, she's been in the game for 25 years. She was in the Met, and then she's come over to Sussex, and she's still saying, "I'm still learning." And I was like, "Wow." And there's me, been here since March.
Yeah, you can't even.
Yeah. You're not even started yet.
Do you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. I've learned things much faster being in Brighton than say Worthing or Littlehampton or Bognor or somewhere. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've learned things and I've seen more things. I've seen things like a lot faster than some of my other colleagues have. Do you know what I mean? But it's weird. I do sometimes still wake up and I think, like my son would say to me, 5 years old, he'll say, "I'm proud of you, Dad." And I'm like, okay, mate, nice one. Because he wants to like do firearms when he gets older. Okay. So like, so he wants to do firearms. And so he would like be like, "Oh yeah, Dad, you're a police officer." And I've actually literally got to stop and think. I'm like, "Oh yeah, I am. Yeah." It's weird. Because even though, like another thing as well, this is a whole new thing as well. When we're not working, we're still on duty. So you will hear people say we're never off duty. This is true. We're never off duty ever.
So what does that mean though, Ram? What are you expected? Like if you're in Tesco's and someone's you got to tap your man down and
I'll tell you a quick story. So I was driving back with my daughter, my eldest. We were driving back from McDonald's. Don't hate. But anyway, I was driving.
Healthy eating, Ram. Healthy eating.
Do you know what I mean? I was driving back, I was coming back from McDonald's. And I was driving through Shoreham, right? And then she said to me, and I wasn't working, I was off duty. She said to me, "Daddy, there's someone on the floor." And I looked, and I was like, "Oh, yeah." And I was like thinking, all right.
It's long.
My burger's going to get cold.
I like cold chips.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I've got to do something. So I pulled over, put the hazards on, I've run over, and he was having a cardiac arrest. And I was like, oh, snap. So basically, and then this time it was chucking down with rain. It was absolutely caning it down. So I literally ran over, ripped his shirt open, started doing all like the CPR on him. And I'll tell you what vexed me the most, what got me really upset. And I think it's the society that we live in now. Not one person actually stopped to help. All they were doing was recording.
Oh, I hate that shit.
So they were just recording. Obviously, get that hit. They want to get that video uploaded to Instagram or whatever.
Man? Yeah.
So one guy was recording. I switched. I said to him, "Yo, put your phone away. Open your umbrella. Cover his face. You go and get me the defib so I can actually try and get this guy to." Do you know what I mean? So and then some builders pulled over, took their coats off, covered him. So I'm there, and I was there for like 15 minutes, pumping, doing all this. And then we got the defib, and then I was just like thinking, right, I don't know how long this guy's been laying there, right? So I'm there trying my hardest to try and save his life and that. And then I called for backup. My colleagues turned up, and I said, "Look, I've got my daughter in the car parked in a real dangerous area. I need to clear this traffic because everyone's just parking up watching, and I need to move my car." Gave them my details, so they took over and everything. I left. Then they contacted me about 2-3 hours later to say, "Look, the ambulance guys, they tried. He didn't make it." So I was gutted. Wow. I was really, really upset. But what annoyed me was the fact that how long was he sitting there for? Had somebody had stepped in, within that first 2 minutes, he might have still he'd be alive now. Who knows? Do you know what I mean? And that's why when they say we're never off duty, it's stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? But I've always said, if I'm out in the shop and I see something going on, I've got my kids with me, I'm not going to get involved because I've got my children with me. I'll watch, get the IDs of them, and then pass it on to my colleagues. But I'm not going to say, hold on, kids, Daddy's going to go and try and play Superman right now. I'm not going to do that because my kids, you know what I mean? But I watch, take notes, have a little, and then pass it on. But we're never off duty, man. Never, ever, ever off duty. So, yeah, that annoyed me, man. That
I guess that seems to like align with your character. Like you said, yeah, you wanted to become a policeman to be the guy that makes the change. Like you've seen him on the floor, like you have to get involved. So it's like a thing that you can't even switch off, let alone it being your job. It just seems like
it's in you.
Yeah, it is. It's hard though, because when it happened, and I did that, and I took my daughter home. I did take my time. She went in, and I sat in the car. I was just sitting there for a bit, for like 5-10 minutes, just thinking, is this what I've brought my kids into this world where all people care about is, right, let's get this video footage, upload it, I'll get these hits, and I'll get this money. And you just think, this is crazy. That's someone's dad, That's someone's granddad. That could be your dad. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, his family members, when they got in contact with me and they said, look, we heard you were the first officer on scene. Thank you for trying. I said, look, I tried. I was there for 20 minutes plus. I'm sorry, do you know what I mean? I don't know what else to say. But like a lot of my colleagues who used to be in nursing and doctors, and they contacted me and said, look, Ramon, it's very, very rarely do people come back from CPR. The percentage rate, is low. It's low. So don't take it to heart. But you're still going to get upset, do you know what I mean? Because that's like...
Yeah, of course.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, could I have saved him? Could I have done more? Did I not do something right? But it's hard, man. It is hard. It's constant.
Big part of it as well. I think like from like stuff I've like heard and seen and whatnot from officers that have, I guess, been to like massive incidents or seen this crime, that crime. Like it must weigh heavy on you, I guess, at sometimes. And like, what's the support like? And I guess mental health is like a massive thing in 2021.
Listen,
support like, and what like the crazy things you see? How do you deal with it?
Listen, the support is brilliant. That incident, for example, when I was off duty, obviously I tweeted it to say, "Oh, this happened. I don't know how to feel about it." I had everybody contact. I had the big guy from upstairs. Like the superintendent contacted me. I had the chief inspector. I had everyone contact, like literally ringing me on my personal mobile. Are you okay? And at that time, in that evening, when they contacted me, I was in the pub with my mate because I was just like, obviously have a drink, just kind of like wind down. And he was trying to cheer me up and say, Ramon, man, there's nothing more you can do, bro. Like, leave it. Don't worry about it. Like it is what it is. You tried. That's what you can do. So the support is huge, man. It's big. It's big. It's big, like everybody. And trust me, I've seen the police family, and it's not a joke. It is literally like a family. Like everybody rallies around you, and they're like, "You okay? Anything we can do? How much time's needed off? I'll cover you." It's crazy, man. It's like CPW. Trust me. It's like CPW.
So Richard might get your applications in.
Do you know what I mean? So it's a proper family, man. They really, really look out for you and look after you, and they've got like a well-being room where you can go and you, like there's little plants in the corner, little cactus, dimmed lights. It's nice, man. It's nice support to know that you've got support there, and even things like my personal life, which we'll come to later, like with the mental health thing, they're aware of that. And I said, look, if it happens again, I might have to go. They're like, do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Like, there's no, like in retail, that guilt trip. Well, you need to get a doctor's note. Well, you can't do that. What about that? There's none of that. There's none of that. There's none of that. There's none of that. They really look after you.
Yeah.
And this is what the public don't seem to understand, especially with COVID. I've lost 2 people to COVID who've died of it. And again, the force to help you. The public don't realise, man, this is not a joke. Us police officers, we've got feelings we've got family we want to get home to as well, man. But I get it. They see the uniform. They've had a bad experience with officers before, so they naturally think we're all the same. But the difference is with me, obviously, when I engage with certain individual and they're aggressive and when I talk to them on the level, they calm down instantly because they realize, because they expect me to match them.
Yeah.
But when they realize, okay, that's not working.
You're not playing that game.
I'm not about that, bro. Because if you want to go to that party, we can go to that. You ain't gonna like it, but do you know what I mean? But they calm down and then they realize, and they always say the same thing. I like you, and I'm like, thanks. Our colleagues are pretty cool as well. Don't worry. They're like, yeah, but I don't know. I'm like, trust me, they're fine. They're fine.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I always make a point to say to them, I am sorry that you've had a bad experience with a police officer, but we're not all like that. We're not. I would love to say all police officers are perfect. We solve every single crime. We don't. There are a few old school officers who are stuck in their ways and they do what they do. But like I said, it is changing, man. And it's just taking time. But it's the press, the media need to start printing that because it's not cool, man. It's not cool, the stuff they print. And you kind of think, some things I've read and I was there and I'm like, you lying. Wow. I'm like, wow, you twisted that. And then you read the comments and people lap it up and they believe it. You're like, wow, wow, okay. Wow, I see what you lot are doing, but it's hard, man. It's hard, but it is what it is. We just keep going, keep fighting.
You know I Ram,
one of the things...
Go on, Rich.
You sure?
Yeah, go on.
All right, go on. One of the things I always wonder is like, kind of what's like a typical day for a police officer. In my head, it's like, or like I feel like sometimes, in my head, it could be like, you remember when we were selling phones? Oh, you got to get X amount of contracts. Make sure you get this much insurance. Do you have to like stop a certain amount of
You got KPIs.
Yeah. Do you have KPIs?
All right. So a typical day. So I'll tell you now. Yeah, I'm on earlys tomorrow. Yeah. So I'll get up at 5
time's early?
Yeah. What shift's that?
So I'll get up at 5, and we got to be at the station for say 6:30 to have a meeting at 7. Have a briefing. We'll look at the slides. Have a little catch up. People that we need to go and look for or safeguard, whatever, and then we'll be out. And then we could finish at either 3:30 or 5:30 for the early. Then you got the middle shifts, which can be anything from like say 3 to midnight or 4 or 3 till 4 in the morning, or you got the nights, which is 11 p.m. till 7 in the morning. But I'll tell you this now, and this is one thing, the best advice I've given, don't ever tell your friends or your missus what time you're going to be home, because you don't know.
Okay.
Because it's one of them ones. I've done a 12-hour shift, not meaning to. It happens. Like, you'll start at 6:30 in the morning, I won't be home till like 7, like 8 at night. It happens. So there really isn't a finish time, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Yeah. There is, but obviously you finish when you finish, when the job is done. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to start a job and then leave when the job's half finished. That's poor for the victim who wants to be safeguarded or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So it's not cool to do that, to just leave a job halfway through because you want to go home. No, it's not about that. Do you know what I mean? Finish the job and then do the handover and then go. Do you know what I mean? Then go about your business. But it's a typical day. So tomorrow when I go in, I'll get in, make the teas and coffees for my colleagues because I'm new. When you're new on section, you got to do that till the new person comes down and they replace. It's like a little thing that they do, tradition. So we'll do that and then have a meeting. Then we'll be crewed up with one of your partners, one of the other colleagues. And then you will have a look on the CAD, see what jobs there are, any grade 1s, grade 2s, whatever. And then you'll just, if there's nothing, then you'll catch up on any work that you've got to do, any last little bits that you've got to tie off. But otherwise,
what's a grade 1 and a grade 2?
Yeah, I was going to ask that.
So grade 1 is the serious things. So domestics, it could be murder, it could be rape, it could be anything, hanging, G5, a death. G5 is a death. Serious things, do you know what I mean? And the grade 2s could be something like, again, could be a domestic, but not as serious. And then he just filters down, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, at the moment, because of COVID, it's weird. It's weird. Because when I started last March, I've experienced the summer and it was crazy. it was crazy. Like people obviously intoxicated, doing foolishness, crazy. So, because you got to understand, right? The role of a police officer is different now. We do everything. We're not just police officers. We're the social worker. We're the teacher. We're the person who tells the person where the toilet is down the road. We help them with the bags. The old lady with the shopping. We do everything. So we get called for everything. Someone's mental health, we get called for that. Like we get called for everything. So it's weird. You know, we're policing in some weird times at the moment. And you know, some of my colleagues are dropping like flies due to exhaustion or COVID, and it's tough, man. It's hard out there, man. But yeah, typical day. Yeah, we'll check what's on the CADs. Sometimes, as soon as before you even sit down, they'll say, right, X, Y, and Z, can you go to this? We're like, cool, let's go. And then you go. And then you don't know what you're going to come up against.
Yeah.
That's the scary thing as well. You don't know what you're going to get.
You don't know what you're going to, yeah.
Because it will say one thing, but then when you go, it's not that. It's a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Or it will say another thing, and then you will go, it's like ready for a fight.
It's different.
It's not. It's like, oh, I can talk to this guy. It's fine.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's
unexpected, unpredictable.
Yeah. Very, very, very.
Yeah.
But it's you got to be ready, man. You just got to be ready and keep your wits about you. And again, the public don't know and they don't care how long you've been in service. It's when you turn up, do your job and do it to the best of your ability. And if it's a victim, again, they don't care how long you've been in the job. Help that victim, safeguard that victim. If it's a domestic, we need to safeguard that victim and make sure they're protected. Get the person out of that house who's harming that individual, whether it's male or female. That's another thing as well. People think domestics is all
one way.
It's all just one way. It's like no, it's not.
Yeah.
It can be both. It's every day's a different day.
What's the most rewarding part of your job, or the thing you like look forward to the most in your
The most rewarding part is when the victim gets the result they want. So if it's someone that we've arrested and we've charged them, whether it's a domestic or if it's a rape or something like that, you know what I mean? And the victim has got that
justice
to say, right, do you know what? They're gone now. I can enjoy my life. Do you know what I mean? And they can enjoy their life. That's the best part. I'd say, yeah, man. That, and I think I'll tell you what's nice. I think what's good as well is when you go to a job. For me personally, if I go to a job and I've not had to use my use of force on that individual, but I was able to talk them down, and they've been compliant. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For me,
you've done a great job there, kind of thing.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't need to get my baton out, my parva out. My colleague didn't need to taser you. We didn't need to do that. We just talk.
Yeah.
We just talk. Do you know what I mean?
Have you ever had to like attend court or anything like that?
Not yet.
Is that's something that is part of the job as well?
It could happen. It could happen. And I've heard some stories like when you're in that booth, boy, it's scary stuff. From what I've heard. But no, I've not had to attend it. But my colleagues, I've heard stories, and they say, yeah, you know, the defendant, you know, they'll try everything. They'll just pick out, and that's their job at the end of the day. I get it, to try and tear you down and pick holes. But this is why I will say, don't just do your job half-heartedly. Finish that job. Make sure it's tight and it's proof and it's proper, and you know what I mean, and it's ready. So if it does go to court, you're good. You're covered. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I think for me that is rewarding when I've not had to use a use of force. If I've had to use force on an individual, it's fine because I'm covered. Do you know what I mean? You know, because we are allowed to use our use of force if need be, whether it's leg restraints or whatever. But yeah, I think for me personally, when I've had to go to a job and you know they've got all sorts of markers on their name, weapons or whatever, and I've just talked to them, I say, yo, chill, man, calm down, yeah, talk to me. Why am I here? What's going on? And they just talk to you, and I think they realise, and it's very hard. I'm sure you'll have had this with your girlfriends, yeah, like when they're up there shouting, rah, 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 and you're just like, right, they can't continue on that level. They have to come down and just bring that volume down. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
over the storm.
Exactly, because they realise, oh, why am I shouting? I do my missus all the time. I do it all the time. Like when she's, I'm just like, cool, all right, cool, all right, and then she calms down. So it's the same thing, man. Same thing with these out there. Do you know what I mean?
Ram, I was going to say earlier, sorry, Les.
No,
you mentioned quickly about Twitter. I've noticed you've set up your Twitter as well. What you like? What's your goal with that? What are you trying to achieve? Or?
What, the work one?
Yeah.
The work one. Again, I think the main thing behind that is to let the public see, because it seems like everybody's on social. You're more likely to get a birthday message on social than to your face. And that could be your family or member, do you know what I mean? So like, social is where it's at. So it's okay. Let's let the public get an insight of what it's like in a day of me, P.C Vaughan-Williams, do you know what I mean? So they can see what it's like for a black officer on the front line in Sussex. So the main thing is being transparent and showing them this is what we're going through. This is what I'm going through. This is what my colleagues are going through. I'll drop the odds, like, a bit of advice on there for people who are going through mental health issues, people who are struggling, stuff like that. You know what I mean? You know me, I'm always giving advice, but it's more for that, just to be transparent and show them this is what I'm going through, this is what we're going through. My organisation are trying. But also, if there's something that we need to get out there to the public to help, whether it's to find somebody who's missing, someone who's wanted, get it out there, because somebody might know that face and go, oh yeah, I know that. Do you know what I mean? So it's that's the main thing.
Did you have to get that approved or like run that by someone?
Yeah, you can't just set up an account. Obviously, you can set up a personal one.
No, of course.
You want to keep that separate. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But you gotta. But they don't allow just anybody and everybody to do it.
Okay.
So and that's why for me, I think they trust me and they realise. And one, this guy's 40. He's not a little boy. He can communicate. He can hold his own. We trust him. And they've seen so far. Damn, like your following is just people are interested. So I think while the iron is hot, we need to keep that going and just show them, look, it's changing. You lot, it's changing. I've had people DM me privately, and they say, I can't believe how far we've come from like a year ago. Like in terms of policing, and they're saying, it's so good to see a black officer out there and, doing his thing, and you know what I mean? So it's that's the main reason why I'm doing it, Mikey. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, man.
Let the people know what the account is,
But basically, if you want to find me, you can look for me for Sussex under Sussex EA 465. That's my badge number. So if you want to follow me or follow me through the Mandem, because I know they're following me, I follow them. You can get me on there. You can see what I'm doing day to day. Do you know what I mean? Any advice you want, just holler at your boy. Do you know what I mean?
Ram, question.
Yo.
You started, you said in March last year.
Yeah.
In May and follow throughout June of last year, we saw a global uprising against police brutality.
Yep.
Chat to me. What was that like? Like, you're someone that's just joined the force, as someone who's experienced it on the other side. What were your thoughts, feelings? You might have been like conflicted with certain things. What was that like, man?
You know what? The uproar on our side in the UK was big. Like the protests that we had in Brighton.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what.
Did you have some? Did it go down there? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Right, I was very, very flattered by the support I received personally, and the fact that the Brighton community, Sussex, how they were dead against what happened in America, dead against it. It's a weird one because there was no. I think because it happened over there, it didn't blow as big here as it did in America. Don't get me wrong. There were protests and stuff going on, but there was no mad, crazy, stupidness, foolishness. People are protesting, which you're allowed to do peacefully. It was fine. They're doing their thing. People asked the odd question, how do you feel? And I said, well, look, obviously it wasn't good, what he did. There was no drama. I'll tell you what began to be annoying for me personally was when every Tom, Dick, and Harry that you were detaining or arresting, you could be holding their hands and they'd be like, I can't breathe. And I'm like, yo, bro, don't take the mickey. This isn't a joke. This is not a joke. I'm holding your hand.
Yeah.
Why are you saying you can't breathe? Or I'm not even touching you. You're saying I can't breathe. Do you think this is a joke? This isn't a joke. It's not something to joke about. Do you know what I mean? So I think, unfortunately, something like that has had to happen, I think, for the whole world. Even celebrities have got involved for them to realize, okay, wow, this is a big deal. This is a big deal. But I can tell you this now, and I'll tell you this now. Because in America, I saw things and some posts where people are saying, who are training these officers to do this? Yo, listen, I can tell you firsthand, when I've been to training, they do not train you like that. We do not train to put your knee on people's neck and chest, and that's not how you're trained. That's not how we were trained at all. That is not what they taught us. So what he did in America, I don't know what he was doing. I don't know what he was doing, why he did it, but we are not trained to do that at all. We're nowhere near their neck and their chest. No. We don't do that. We don't do that. So, and again, it's the thing. The press are not going to show that, no, are they? They're not going to say that. They're not going to put out there and say, yeah, this is how they actually are trained. I know for a fact we actually offered a few people to come and see behind the scenes of how we actually train.
Okay.
When it comes to like combat and stuff. And they left like, oh, wow, we didn't realize, because in the press they said, and this is why you got to believe. You got to believe what we say. Don't always believe what they print. If they say to you it's raining, double check, because boy, they'll make things up, man. They'll make things up. So that's the other battle I've got as well with the media.
Yeah, that's mad. I've noticed you like say the media a couple times.
I was just about to say that as well. I was just about to say it.
And I personally would have thought that, I guess, the police and the media sing from the same hymn.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. There's some parts of the media are cool. Like, I know people within the BBC. Like, when I first started, I did an interview with the BBC. And when I thought, and again, because I know what they're about. You know, I might try to edit certain bits. But I know some people in the BBC, they're cool. They're fine. You get good and bad in all media. But it just seems to me, I just think the media they're not helping the situation sometimes. You know, I'm there trying to make a difference. My colleagues are trying to make a difference, trying to put out the positive stuff, the good stuff. And they just spin the narrative and it's like, why? Like, seriously, man, you're making it worse. Like, seriously, don't do that. Don't do that. That's people's lives out there, do you know what I mean? And people believe what you say, what you print. Do you know what I mean? So I've got that battle, but so far, touch wood, I've not had any negative press. I've had good feedback. Do you know what I mean? I think 'cause I'm a humble person, yeah, and I don't go on like I'm all that. I think they realise, you know what? There's no point trying to try it with this guy. Do you know what I mean? So exactly. So who else can we bully? Not me, bro. Like I'm cut from a different cloth. Do you know what I mean? But no, it's a weird journey. It's a weird time to be joining. Weird time. You know, with the whole COVID, and you try to police and you tell them, especially with COVID, you tell people, look, why are you doing this? Why are you having a party of 50 people? Seriously, like, what are you doing? People think it's a joke. Some people still think it's a hoax, and it's like, okay, so tell that to my friends who have died and their family. That's a joke. It's not a joke. One guy, 36 years old, caught it, 4 days later, dead. And then a friend of a friend, no underlying issues, 36 years old, no health issues. People think it's a joke. It's not a joke, man. I'm telling you. People need to start listening. And we're going to continue to go into lockdown until people start listening and follow the rules, man. Do you know what I mean? But it is what it is, man. Do you know what I mean?
Ram, you sort of touched on this, and I guess a lot of people say, I guess being in the emergency services is you don't really join unless you see it as a bit of a calling. And you mentioned that you were sort of walking down one road and something told you to go down a particular road. You also mentioned that you're, I guess, quite religious through sort of your upbringing. Do you think that you could only join or be a part of emergency services if you see it as something, I guess, greater than yourself, because it's a selfless sort of job that you do. Do you see it as a calling, and do you think you can only really be a part of it if you see it as that?
Good question. Right. See, I can't speak for everybody, obviously, but course, for me personally, like, I believe.
I guess when you think back, what do you think made you go down that road?
That was God telling me, go down that road. Now's your time.
Yeah.
Like I said, again, when we come on to what happened in 2016, you see why.
Yeah.
Like, there are things ever since I've been little, and I remember the pastor saying to my mum when I was young, and I'll never forget, and he said, your son's blessed. He's gonna do things. He's gonna do bits. He's gonna do things. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you're young. I'm thinking, all right, mate, whatever. Then as you get older, I've experienced things, gone through things. There's no other way to explain it but the big man upstairs. There's no way to explain it. I've tried thinking, but how, but why, but how, but how, but why. But my nan always said to me, God may not do things on your time, but when he does do things, he's always on time. And my gosh, it's true. I'm telling you, like, I don't know what it was. Like I said, there's something, and I think it's when you're true to yourself, and you're at one with yourself, and you're at peace with yourself, wisdom starts to grow at a fast rate, fast pace. When you are calm within yourself, you hear things and you see things differently. Nas said in one of his tracks, I think it's Hero, every September 30th, bruv, you know what I mean? You know that tune, Hero, yeah? When he says every September 13th, he sees things clearly. That's his birthday. Every year he sees things clearly. Trust me, I know what he means, man. Every year my birthday, I see things clearly. It's weird. I can't describe it in my brain how I see things.
Yeah.
It's like I've got a puzzle. Some things are blacked out. Some things I've got a good picture. And it's like, right, okay, why is that piece not clear? Because it's not ready yet. It's not ready. It's pending. It's not ready yet. Do you know what I'm saying? So that will become clear when it becomes clear.
Yeah.
So, and it's going to come clear eventually, but I need to be having these conversations with certain people, depending who you meet. Because even if you meet somebody for a day, you met them for a reason. You might not know what that reason is. You might see it later and you go, hang on a minute. Oh, wow. Is that what? Oh, do you see what I'm saying? So it's when something said to me, go down that particular road, it's do it.
Yeah.
I did it. And this is what's happened. So it's crazy. I do believe everything happens for a reason. Some people don't. Some people say it's luck. Some people say it's the universe or each to their own. But to answer your question, I think you do need to be a certain type of person or individual to be a police officer or fireman or a doctor or nurse. If you're a selfish person, there's no way you can be a police officer or a doctor or a nurse because those kind of people are selfless. They put other people first.
Do you know what I mean? Right?
So, yeah, do you know what I mean? So it's a tough one. I don't believe everyone and anybody could do it because it's you've got to be mentally strong as well. You've got to be able to have empathy for that individual in front of you. You've got to be able to have sympathy for that person in front of you. You've got to be able to put someone else first before you. Stuff like that, do you know what I mean? And not everyone can do that. So for me, it was definitely my calling. I've had different callings in life, whether it was the arts back in the day, when I was in the arts, whether it was teaching or the police thing, those were clearly my calling.
Yeah.
And at each stage, I've done something to help somebody.
Yeah.
That's why I am who I am. Do you know what I mean? So it's everyone's got their calling. Some people find it sooner than others. Some people take a while to find it due to whether it's they refuse to accept what it is or because they're just clouded. They're just mixing with the wrong people. And that's why I always say surround yourself with positive people because I'm telling you, the people you hang around with have massive influence on you, you know what I mean, without you realizing. So be around people that are go-getters, that don't take no for an answer. Or if there is a word no, they break it down. N-O, no, means next opportunity. Do you see what I'm saying? So bars, that's another one, Mike. Do you know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
you see what I'm saying? So it's one of them ones where it depends how you see things, man. I've got it on my Twitter thing, on my heading. When you're positive in a negative situation, you win, man. You win. You automatically win. You know, what's the alternative? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's easy to be positive. It's not. It's a mindset. You got to train yourself. I've not always been positive. I've not always been a positive person due to coming from humble beginnings when it's just me and my mum. Christmas was a normal day sometimes. I'll sleep for my birthday. Do you know what I mean? I've had it rough. I've had it tough. But you have that thing. In everything in life, you've got a choice. The only thing you ain't got a choice over is death. Do you know what I mean? And I would say to people, if you're not happy, move. You're not a tree. Move. Do something. Change it. You know what I'm saying? So it's, I've not always been positive, but it came to a stage where I thought, right, the way my life is, I'm not happy. Right. So what can I do to change that? Okay. And then you start putting the steps in, and then people drop off who don't like the fact that you're changing for the better for whatever reason, because they're jealous or they're fearful that, you know, for whatever reason. But that's fine. Let them go and do their thing. Let them go and you just keep moving, keep climbing, keep climbing. And you have to train myself to change my mindset to be positive. Hence why, again, it will all make sense when I tell you this story.
All right, man. I can't wait.
Let's get into it, man.
Before we move on to that, and we've obviously just seen your son. How, I guess you say, having spoken to you now, you, I guess, probably wouldn't necessarily have grown up with the wisdom that I guess that you've accumulated now. So how are you sort of giving that back to your kids? Because we talk a lot about, we talk about generational wealth, and that's financial, money-wise, and that's important. But I think, whereas some of our parents, and one of our friends coined a term that our parents lost, in the sense that they missed opportunities that didn't allow them to, I guess, attain wealth and whatnot, but also knowledge and how to live life and progress and be successful in different areas of it. Weren't necessarily passed down to us, but we're reading books, we're talking to people like yourself, we're learning. So then when we start having kids, we want to pass that knowledge down. But whereas a man, you're in that situation now, how are you doing that with your kids?
You know what it is, I'm agreeing with you. When I first had my first child, my daughter, and my mum came round, my mum started crying. And I was like, why are you crying, mum? She was like, she couldn't talk. And I was like, okay, I'll leave her. I came back again. I said, right, what's going on? Why are you crying? She was like, I look at you and your partner, how you've raised your daughter. You've never had to smack her or hit her or do anything like that. How, I'm just so proud of you, how you've managed to turn what you've come from, because obviously life was hard, to what you've got now. When I said, you know what, Mum? It's because of you. That's why. I said, because you, without realizing, you were instilling in me that strength to believe in yourself and do you, be you. Now, in saying that, I had to remind her and say, Mum, you have to remember, it's a different era. Back then, you had 3 boys to look after, me and my younger brothers. When you cut loose with Dad, you cut ties, you're like, see you later. And I said, if you had stayed with Dad back then, I might have resented you for it. So what you did was girl power, which I champion. I champion women having a voice. I love all of that. So I said, it's a different era. I said, you had the church, we're the church back then. You had all these people, like I said earlier, about the community raising you. So I said all of that. I said, times are different now. Times have changed. We've got so much available to us. We've got the internet. We can Google things. We can ask Google, ask Siri, any question to find out, to get the information. You never had that. All you had was Sarah Jane from church, your mum, X, Y, and Z. That's all you had. And that's all you knew. And I said, the key, I think, in this era is communication. But not just talking, but also listening. And I think what I do with my children, which, don't get me wrong, I had communication with my mum. My mum, obviously, when I was naughty, I got in trouble. But when it got to a certain age, she realised, you know what? I need to communicate with my son now to get him to understand why you can't behave like that, why you can't do that, and why you shouldn't do this, or why you shouldn't do that. She communicate that with me. So I did have it from an early stage. But obviously, when I've got my own children, the way I teach my kids is I let them have a voice. Very important to let kids have a voice from a young age. Because if you don't let them have a voice, they're gonna go crazy when they get older. Do you see what I'm saying? So I let my kids have a voice. I let them challenge me. I let them have an opinion. I let them have a debate with me. Like I remind them and say, listen, if I tell you to do something, you do it. Yeah. But if it's an open discussion at the table, and then I'll say to my girls, especially my girls, let's be honest, women don't tend to have a voice in this world. So I'm raising my girls, as long as you're not rude, speak up. Don't let anybody dumb you down and tell you can't do what you want to do and be what you want to be. Speak your mind, speak the truth. Do you know what I mean? So I teach all three of my kids them that. Why do you disagree with daddy? Let's have it out. Let's have it. Let's do this. Let's chat. Do you know what I mean? So, and it gives them confidence. So when they go to school and there's debates or whatever, or they see something, speak up, say something. Don't have it. Because I'm a firm believer, if you don't say something, you're part of the problem, bro. You're part of the problem. Do you know what I mean? So I teach my kids as young as 5. Hence why my personal Twitter is called Blink and Breathe. Do you know where I got that from?
Go on.
That's my daughter, my eldest. She told me that in 2016. Again, we'll come to that story. But she taught me that. And that just knocked me for 6. But my mum said to me, why are you surprised your daughter's speaking like this? She's got it from you. I said, yeah, I know, mum, and I got it from you. Yeah. So it's that thing of communication is key. But people get it twisted, yeah? Communication is not just chat. It's listening as well. And people mistake that as well because people don't seem to understand. There's a big difference between listening and hearing. Yeah, you can hear me because you ain't deaf. But are you listening to what I'm saying to you? You see what I'm saying? So I teach my kids from a young age, all of that. Say, right, whatever you're feeling in that moment, talk about it. You're going to feel things that you've never felt before. You're going to experience things you've never experienced before. Trust me, talk about it. No matter how big or how small it is, communicate. Got to communicate. Yeah. Got to communicate. So I'm teaching these guys, as long as I keep communicating, they'll be good. They'll be good. But also, I'm also teaching them how to be confident, be brave, take risks. But also, I think when they see me, the careers I've gone through, like I'll show them tapes from back in the day when daddy was on TV and all of this. And they're looking at me like,
who are you?
Like, who's this guy? Who's this guy? Do you know what I mean? So like, when they see me get dressed in uniform and doing my thing, or the thing with the CPR, I think it inspires them, especially my eldest. And they're just looking at that thinking, wow, my dad's jumped through so many hoops to get to where he wants to get to. I've got no excuse with me, my gymnastics. And now she's flying the flag. But the difference is, as well, it's about, like you said about wealth, but it's a different kind of wealth. Yeah. I'm much richer, not just financially, just as a whole, than my mum was at 40. My kids are much richer than I was at that age.
You're on the right path, man. If that's the pattern,
that's
real
shit.
Things are good, man.
And that's how it starts. When my son at 5 is saying, I want to do this, I'm like, yo, wow. He knows already what he wants to be already. Not saying he might. Exactly. He might change his mind. He might change. That's fine. Change your mind if you want. Yeah. But the fact that my daughter, 12, she's got her first gold medal. She's got her silver medal. It's like, do you know what? And there's me worrying about this world. Why did I bring kids into this world? And my mum said to me, you got nothing to worry about. If you can control your children in your house, when they go out there, they're going to break records. Don't worry about it. You got nothing to worry about. Yeah. So it's that thing. You need to lead by example. Remember, kids learn by their environment more than what's being said to them. Anybody can chat the chat. Don't smoke. You mustn't smoke. You know what I'm saying? Don't hit. Yeah, but you just hit me. you see what I'm saying? So it's by leading by example, not just what you say, but what you do. So when they see me getting up, early hours, going to work, coming in late at night, it's naturally, subconsciously going to go in there. They're going to say, right, they're going to see, okay? Do you know what I mean? They're going to see. When Dad said this is what he was going to do, he's done it.
Yeah.
No excuses. He's done it. Yeah? Winners don't have excuses. Do you know what I'm saying? They find options. They find options. They find ways to get what they want to get to where they want to get to. So to answer your question, bro, it's communication, man, but also it's giving them the freedom to express themselves. A lot of children are stunted, man, emotionally stunted. You know, unfortunately. And again, and this is what I'm saying, it's hard because they're stunted because their parents were stunted by their parents.
Yeah.
And it's children who are having children, blind leading the blind. What could you possibly teach your child? Yeah. You're only 16, you're only 19. But in saying that, I know people who have had kids at a very young age, they flipped it and they've made something of themselves. So it does sometimes skip a generation and those kids grow up and go, you know what, I've had enough of this. My father-in-law is a prime example. He probably won't mind me saying the story. He's come from nothing. No parents, youngest of siblings, told at his work that he would amount to nothing. He was just a tea boy making tea. He ended up, years to come, basically, being that person's boss who told him you'll be nothing. Now he's retired, living in a 5-bedroom, nice house in Rottendean. And so it is the individual.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It is the individual.
Yeah, of course.
But it's
environment plays a massive part.
Yeah, massive. But again, but in order to see the rewards, you need to be selfish. Sometimes people think being selfish is a negative thing. It's not. Be selfish for yourself sometimes.
Of
Do you know
course.
what I'm saying? So it's if you need to cut ties with somebody that you grew up with, so you can take that next step to upgrade, do it, man. You got to do it. And if they're true friends, they would say, go and do your thing, what you're doing, man. Go and do what you do. I'm here for you. I'm here. Go and do what you want to do. Man. Exactly. But if they're umming and ahhing, you sure you want to do that? Oh, I want to do that if I were you. It's because they're putting their fears on you. Don't let them put their fears on you, man. Because they're scared. Because their parents told them, nah, you don't want to do that. You'll never make it. Yeah. Same thing. You sure you'd be a police officer? My uncle's prime example. You sure to be a police officer? Or you sure? Yeah, I do. It's fine. Yeah. I got this. Do you know what I mean? But it's hard, man. It's hard because the older generation had it tough, man. They had it tough, but but something has to change. Something has to change. You know what I mean?
It's interesting. Sorry, Ram. It's interesting that you say that because I've started and Dan recommended the book Outliers, and there's a chapter in, I can't remember the name of the chapter, but it basically talks about like parenting and how and why successful people get to the places that they get to. It's because the environment definitely plays a part in it, and hard work, of course. But there's a particular chapter was talking about the fact of how parents or these successful people, how their parents treated them. So they gave 2 examples of sort of one set of family. I think they were going to like the doctors, and the mum was like, when you get to the doctors, make sure you ask questions. Is there anything you want to ask the doctor? Whatever you want to say, ask the doctor. And then I guess on the contrast of it, there was another set where they weren't really encouraged to speak up and sort of, like you said, accepted the situation. Then didn't really progress. And then I guess to the other thing, it's your daughter getting her gold medal, her silver medal, your son now telling you what it is that he wants to be. I can tell you now at that age, I had no idea. Like still kind of and about particular things that you want to do in the future. So it's great to hear that. Yeah, it's mad because like I said, when I was 5, all I was interested in was He-Man, toys, running around pretending to be like a fire engine, like Nino, like doing craziness. So like when my son, I'll tell you what I knew with my son, when I knew he'd be all right, because he's the youngest in his class, he's an August baby. Okay. When his teacher said to me, you got nothing to worry about, Mr. Vaughan-Williams, I was like, why? And he was like, your son, even though he's the youngest, he's one of the only children whose understanding and his communication is
amazing. His understanding level of when you talk, you can just literally just talk to him. They don't need to say it in a funny voice or use certain words. They just talk. And do you know what I mean? And I said, do you know what? I said, she said, yeah, he's understanding. I said, do you know what? That's a little bit to do with me and mum. I said, to be fair, he's got 2 older sisters who've always been constantly talking. Yeah. So I think he's just used to certain terminology. He picks it up. But mate, trust me, it is all about the upbringing and the house. Don't get me wrong, it's hard because the more you give your children that license to say and do whatever they want within reason, it does make it that hard as a parent because then you've got to kind of battle or teach to say, right, look, now's not the time. I know I gave you freedom to talk. Now's not the time. Calm it a little bit. Calm it a bit. So it's hard to find the balance. But totally, I'm totally all about asking questions. Don't get me wrong, it's hard because, and this is the other thing what's funny, because on paper, me and the missus, like, technically we should not get on because the background I come from is very black and white, tell it as it is. When you got a problem, deal with it, move on. Whereas her background was a bit more sheltered. Shh, don't say anything. Don't offend that person. Or we don't like confrontation. Now, on paper, we should be clashing. But like my mum said to me, it's all about that balance. Good cop, bad cop, whatever you want to call it. It's good to have 2 different types of parents, not 2 parents who are either very strong and dominant or 2 parents that are very timid and weak and soft or sensitive, whatever words you want to use. It's good to have a balance. Yeah. There were times when Nick has had to say, Ramon, I think you was a little bit over the top there. And I go, was I? She's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, fair enough. Or I'll say, Nick, you need to up it a bit because if you don't, they're going to do rings around you. And I say this to a lot of my parent friends. If you know there's a slight chance you might change your mind with your child, just tell them from the get-go, yes, they can have it, or no. Or, do you know what I mean? Don't say no 10 times and then say yes, because they will remember that and they'll come back and do it again. You got to be consistent. Told them to try hard, basically. Basically, exactly. The key to parenting for me, people say, what's your secret? How you've never had to spank your children. We've never had a lot of the problems a lot of parents have. I said, you know what? It's not a secret. Remedy is communicate and be consistent. Simple. If you're consistent in your words and in your behavior as a whole, you're winning. But you've got to be consistent and you've got to communicate no matter where you are. Because some people only do certain things around certain people. See what I'm saying? So if there's a crowd, they won't tell their kids off because they want to make a scene. Yeah. I will tell my child off no matter where I am, whether it's church, whether it's at school, whether it's in the supermarket, whether it's at the petrol station, I will tell them straight. Like, really? You really want to do this, yeah? So, do you know what I mean? So it's communicate and consistency. But it's hard, man. I feel sorry for the older generation because they only know what they know. Yeah. Like my nan went for a phase of not moaning, but she used to back in the day, I don't get to see the grandkids, the great grandkids. I said, look, we can't afford to come to America. So you need to get yourself a laptop, get a laptop that's got a video camera on there. Skype, back then when it was Skype and all of that. Again, fought it, was against it, because obviously it's the fear of the unknown. Against it, and realize, you're wasting your time. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's up to you. If you really want it,
it's there for you.
It's there.
There's options.
Exactly. Sometimes the older generation can be a little bit pig-headed and not listen to us youngsters, you know what I mean? And then she realised, and when she jumped on it, now she's on Facebook. Do you know what I mean? She's on it, she's seeing all the grandkids and everything. Life's good. So I feel sorry for them, man. I feel sorry for them. They're just stuck in their ways, you know what I mean? But yeah, man.
When are we going to talk about this 2016 incident?
Yeah, let's get to it, man. Let's get to it.